Gamers, the future of retro gaming is finally here, introducing the Analog 3D. A totally reimagining of the legendary N64, or legendary for me personally, and now we can finally run it in 4K resolution. That's actually 10 times better than the resolution that was original. Yeah, you hear me right, your favorite classic N64 games now in an ultra crisp and modern day glory. However, if you're going to be looking at N64, where I had an amazing time, I just must say that not all of the games were absolutely great, and I do speak a lot of fellow collectors that have like double feelings or don't like the system at all. I'm still personally excited because I had such a blast to the past when all the previous videos have been made, and it's also interesting to basically chit chat about it very quickly in this video. So the Analog company is taking everything that we love of the N64 and just leveling this up. So it's bringing it back to life, and what is kind of cool, that this thing is going to be 100% compatible with every kind of game. But what is so convenient about it? Because some of the different game types, think about the Japanese imported games, are really cheap. And of course, cheap games. I don't know how it is with different regions like the US, but if you're going to be searching for PAL games, it's going to be quite expensive to find and make a complete collection, even with only cartridges. And with, let's say, having different regions, we also have different kind of games that have never been released in PAL. And of course, don't forget the fake games from AliExpress that we have chit-chatted about. And not particularly like the fake bootleg ones, but the ones that are custom made and put on a cartridge. This way we can play all kinds of cool games throughout original, let's say, technology. And that is thanks to the FPGA that is inside of the machine. Okay, so it's finally here, so let's take a close look at the store. We have two models, we have a black and a white color variation, and would not be surprised there are new colors in the future. But for now, two colors can be pre-ordered. Yep, as making this video, only pre-order can be done. The Analog 3D. So let's take a close look at the product itself. Costs $250. And with $250, I personally still need to pay shipment and import costs. So let's say this thing going to be around $350, maybe all the way to the 400 euros. But is it actually worth it? So that brings me to another option. The digital HDMI and N64. That is a product that I've reviewed here on the channel. But I think I paid around like $450 for this product. And that is not going to be a cheap solution, because the HDMI digital is not an original product. It is actually original hardware with an upgrade of an HDMI digital solution. And I'm very glad to have this in my, let's say, collection. However, with now the Analog 3D with FPGA technology and N64, we do have I would say emulation, like hardware emulation, that we do have the option to play even on, let's say, higher overall, let's say, results when it comes to the emulation, where I do wonder how the games will look. Because let's be honest, the games of the N64 in general are pretty horrible, and particularly when you're going to be looking now on, let's say, new generation of TVs. I own two HDMI solutions, the digital one with an expansion pack. How will that actually work out with the FPGA console of Analog? Do we still need one, or is it implemented in the device? And will the 4K resolution be the next generation or the next level of just actually playing our original, but also, let's say, the fun games like Dragon Ball karting on the device? It's region free, so I can actually play my favorite game, Justy Story. You know, when I'm thinking about all of these games, is this maybe a very fun and very, when I say affordable way, because it's not cheap at all, but if you're going to be looking at a digital N64, it's still a super expensive way to play. And how will this GoldenEye look at? Because I'm even going to be upscaling it. Yeah, is it going to be looking any better? Because it's still a very pixelated old school game. In short, I am quite excited about the Analog 3D because I am just a fan of the N64, where there is like a small library of games I do play through this HDMI solution I'm having over here, and it doesn't look any better. The upscaling solution, it's cool, but the games still look pretty damn awful. The Ultra HDMI setup menu is very extended. We can do so many cool things with this, and yep, we also have upscaling with this device. So that makes me wonder, what can we actually do with the FPGA? When looking at the Super NES version and the Sega version I had, this thing was absolutely great. Both of the Analog products I'm a big fan of, and it was so much superior than the original hardware in many different ways with all the cool upscaling options. But then is the question, how will the overall signal output be? And of course, how will the emulation performance, or at least the gameplay performance, when you're looking at the original one, the Ultra HDMI versus the Analog 3D. Coming back to the Analog 3D, I am super excited and I really want to have this for my collection. With a simple reason, not only I want to review it here on the channel, and I really wanted to compare this with other products that I have here in my collection. I also wanted to see how good is it, but I think you need to be a die-hard fan of N64 to actually get this. With a simple reason, because there are so many different solutions out there. Yes, where there are not a lot of clone devices, but we do have like different cheaper solutions. So one of them is going to be the AliExpress one. But if you don't care about upscaling, this particular model from AliExpress doesn't even cost $40 if you can do some soldering, otherwise it's going to be still an expensive but cheaper solution where we have just some basic HDMI output. So I did a comparison with the AliExpress and the Ultra HDMI, and of course the Ultra HDMI is such a great solution compared with the AliExpress version, but it's just a basic HDMI output. But you know, both of them are, let's say, quite expensive, because in the end, if with a system and if you're going to be buying one ready to go, or you're going to be searching somebody to make it, the cheapest way is of course getting the kit and just do it yourself. However, this is of course not for everyone. So even if I have both of the say HDMI solution, it would be fun to make a side-by-side comparison and how will this Analog 3D work and actually also look between all the other models. And I think it's a very cool solution, and just enjoy yourself some N64 games. Okay, so you do have the option for Bluetooth, so I'm guessing you can hook up a controller through the wireless connection and use an original controller, dual band Wi-Fi even implemented, so this thing has actually way more features than my Ultra HDMI that costs almost the same amount of money. So the Analog can be in serious overall competition against the other ones that you can find most of the time on eBay, where I think I paid around like $200 for the AliExpress one, complete modified, and $400+ for the one for the N64. So yeah, I can just enjoy every kind of games, but it would be so much more convenient if I have like one system for 4K upscaling, then having the option for PAL, Japan, US, or even some homeroom game I picked up. I can basically buy everything I want to have and to do with the N64. Will it has support for, let's say, the Super 64 EverDrive and all kinds of flash cards? That's another thing we can also do in testing if I manage to get myself one of these games. I don't have the shenanigans anymore of struggling which system to buy and all of the expensive modification, and just buy an analog. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what will your option be. Would you pick up an N64 from Analog or just grab an original one without all of the shenanigans?